All right, team. So I'm here now, and we're going to get started. We wanted to kind of replay some of earlier, but I'll cover everything. I'll kind of talk about it, so don't worry. We're getting started in exactly a minute, team. I'm just looking for a link once it comes for the presentation. Then, okay, there you go.
Karthik, I see a hand raised.
My hand, is it?
No, Karthik, a member
So,
hand. Som
yeah.
Subedi.
Yeah, so we will come to questions in a little while, please. And my name is not changed here. Is this my name? Yeah. 1 second. I'm going to come to the Q&A towards the end, so that will make sense. Any challenges in terms of audio or connectivities? Let me know, please, in the meanwhile. All right, Som seems to be good with it. No hands raised. We're good to go. I have to be the presenter. All right, team, at this point, you all should be able to see my screen. We good, everyone?
Yes,
My audio
Karthik.
and my screen?
Yes, yes,
All right,
Karthik.
perfect. Thank you. Thank you, Ashna. All right, everyone, we'll get started. Give me a second. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to iTeLearn. This is Karthik. Thank you for being here. Today, we'll focus a lot on Selenium. We're going to be starting the new batch of Selenium training, and today is the orientation session for it. So while we will talk a lot on Selenium, it is absolutely critical for me to mention about JPact. I'm going to briefly talk about JPact team because we just finished one orientation session before this, which went through a detail on what is JPact, a program that we launched almost 3 years ago with iTeLearn, and now is the 6th batch. We've successfully trained a lot of them, placed hundreds of them in this program, and we're really looking forward to see how we could expand that, make it even better for as the market keeps dynamically changing. So idea is about 10 minutes in giving a brief overview back on JPact, like a quick summary, and then we'll go straight into talking about Selenium. All right. In the earlier session, I didn't focus too much on software testing, spoke very briefly, but on this topic, I would really like to spend a lot of time, team. Okay. All right. So let's keep going. I'm going to quickly go through the slides. So what is the primary reason and the core challenge why we started this JPact? The reason is while we're training people, there is still a gap between what they put on resume and what is being asked on interviews, constant basis. There's a good amount of lack on exposure and orientation. You really don't see much. You do not see the end client or the atmosphere of working. You do not get to experience that. And we see that how do we bring that exposure and experience to you? The guidance is very critical, team. A program, a structure, a system that is proven, that is built for your success, that is built so that you can learn well and get placed right into your sweet spot job. The most important final thing is we do all this preparation, but you have to showcase that in your professional experience, in your resume. How do you do that? With these core challenges, we've put the program together called as JPact. So all your questions, oops, I don't have the right skills or project work. Will I get a job support? What about certifications, interviews? All these things are very critical. So JPact as a program takes you in a very detailed manner through the entire thing. So how it works is in this 4 levels or stages, team. This program is built more for people who are focused, who are more beginner level, freshers, I would say, or entering IT or software testing or automation. Someone who's been working, let us say in the IT or has got 2 to 3 years work in software testing, you may be looking at specializations. But let me explain how this works overall for someone who's looking for a serious impact program. sorry, the stage one team starts with the core training. Core training is specifically nothing but, all right, you know what? I need to learn Selenium, IDE, WebDriver, Eclipse. I need to know Java, how to do. I need to run some frameworks. This is core training, all right, for example. Or you want to be a DevOps expert and you go about learning that. So learning a skill, knowing how to work using the technology is what your core training. It will build your core. Unless you have certifications and actual projects, certifications or projects, there is no recognition for your core learning. So whatever you learn, there's no need for that kind of there's no job in the market which will be given to you without a proper profile or resume team. That is critical. And a resume is built based on your academics, your certifications, and more importantly, as your career builds, it'll, when you resume goes to third page, fourth page, it is all your project experience. Where did you work? What did you do? What challenges? What technologies? Your roles and responsibilities. How do you get there? So Verkasa as an organization has been doing a lot of IT projects in the last 3-4 years, and that gives us phenomenal opportunities to put you in actual projects. Certifications, some are there which is third party recognized, some are inbuilt ones that will give you a strong confidence to you and your employers. That is your stage two team, your certification and live projects. Once you're good with this, you go into finishing and growing. This is where your attitude, aptitude, your communication skills, your mock interviews, your personality development, everything shapes up. How do we speak? How do we talk? Some of us are good in some areas, some of us are not. And we do know that, significant improvement may not be possible overnight. It takes gradual effort to improve certain soft aspects of a human being. But what we do is we put it as a program. We at least know that, okay, here are the 10 things we expect, and you don't do very well right now in these three, but at least you know, you're aware, and you continue to work through your career to improve them. That's the only way we shine, team. We improve ourselves day by day. Any corporate successful person would talk about that. That is finishing and grooming as the next stage. Finally comes your job placement and work support. So how do you get your job? Does your resume make sense? How do you attend interviews? Which clients? How do you accept which offer? And once you join and get started, do you have that confidence that, okay, there's a team behind you who will support you and guide you? So this whole structured program is very, very well built, extremely well organized for participants, like I said, who have time, who want to take about 3 months. It'll gonna take you at least 2.5, 3 months, team, the whole cycle. And it's a program that will drive you towards success. Let us say you're someone who's already working in the IT industry. Hey, you know what, Karthik, I'm good. I just need to learn this. Perfect. Go to our core trainings, look at our schedule, what we do. JPACT is our mega course. So what we offer at iTeLearn are two programs, team. One, individual core trainings, or two, the entire JPACT. Nothing in between. And just to give you a price perspective, our JPACT program is at $2,500. And we've got hundreds of students who have enrolled. We're now wanting to also do this in India and a few more places. So hopefully we'll get a good appreciation and audience for that. All right, where am I? I'm here at the slide. The next slide basically talks about all our programs that we're doing. And here is the focused areas that is coming up this month from iTeLearn. We want to have a stream which starts with the basics, core fundamentals of software testing, that is QA manual testing. That is one stream. And and these don't overlap, team. None of these sessions are going to be overlapping. So you could choose to take 2-3 trainings also at the same time, and we'll make sure it is digestible for you. It's still a 2 to 3 months program. We'll put you through a little faster rigor through that. The next one is Selenium. That's what we'll focus a lot in today's session. And the next one is programming languages. So, Selenium, the basic concepts and everything. You need to tie it with some kind of a programming language. Which one would it be? And then SDET, software development engineer in test. How to become one? What are those gaps? How can we finish it? All of this would be covered in JPACT. So that would become one program, team. All right. Now, I know some of you individually pick up these, but just letting you know, you have both the options. Take the entire thing, that is JPACT, or take individual programs, and it is like you fill in your gaps, you know what you want. The below things talks about our some of our ongoing, previous, or upcoming trainings. And depending on our students and their demand, we will keep scheduling them. So we are pretty flexible. We are very much well driven by our market, and our students are our market. So that's about what courses and what programs we've organized, team. I've spoken about certification live projects, the importance of having them on your resume. How do we get there, and how have we built this successfully in JPAC to make that happen? Some of the popular certifications that you see worldwide, we have our own internal certification that we've created, and we've been doing it for the last 1.5 to 2 years. This is on our home-built automation tool called AnyAUT, and we've created both certified tester and developers. I've spoken about this at length in the orientation session, so I'll let you go through that. Finishing and grooming, like I spoke earlier, briefly, team, what all will get covered. So you'll go through a lot of grooming. We really want to transform you and get you out of that comfort to some more exposure, maybe little challenges. You will go through a lot of them, but the way you will come up should be really shining. We spoke about job placement and work support, a lot of content, a lot of talk work has to be done. It's not easy, team, in today's job to compete, get into a new job and then stay there and successful. We have been there, we've been doing it, so we really believe in what we're doing. We want you to be part of these programs so we could continue you forward. Again, about iTeLearn and how we are different in training, I'm going to skip that. This is an important slide for everyone. If you've not attended the previous session, then we started with e-learning 9 years ago. We've done phenomenally well. Very happy with myself, and our students have been pretty happy with what we have done. Including JPAC, we've done it all e-learning. Now we've started with our first classroom in Hyderabad, and we're really excited to start seeing students in person, and we will hopefully start growing and setting up more classrooms. Digital classrooms are partner driven. We have our partners and associates who are constantly helping us to get students of iTeLearns or their students together into a learning model. All they need is a 15-20 seater to get started with basic infrastructure, be it in US, UK, Australia, India, or any of the upcoming countries that we're seeing. We're talking a lot with Bangladesh and Nigeria as well, team. Of course, that is more of vision and all that. Practically, you will start seeing multiple ways of learning. So if you're someone who's comfortable with e-learning, perfect. We're experts at it, but we also will welcome you to our classroom and digital classrooms, which we will increase in significant number in the coming few weeks. So that was about that. The primary difference that I see between online learning and in class, once you come here, I could put my eyes on you and structure you and guide you. But in online, there is a lot of self-discipline that comes from you. You need to be joining on time. You need to have your schedule. You need to ensure that nothing else is deviating, and stay focused. So that talks a lot about you. We want to bring that flexibility, and you will do a lot of learning as teams once you get into project works and so on. That is going to be extremely interesting for your team. All right, great. So that was in class online learning. Now we can go to Selenium orientation. Any questions in general on JPAC or basics of IT learn or e-learning? Not on Selenium, team. That I will cover. We will talk about Selenium at length. I will handle any other questions, please. There are a few questions that were asked early. I will see if they're relevant and go through them. There's one question which was asked, Karthik, are you also going to teach UFT, do UFT trainings? HP UFT, yes, I think it's now Micro Focus. There's UFT has come up, UFT Lean is there. UFT is going to give a tough fight in the market. It is not a product that will die soon. HP has already got too many contracts with it. I don't know what the strategy is with Micro Focus. Quick answer, yes, I will be teaching UFT as well. But like I said, I may do more like 2-3 Selenium batches and 1 UFT batch. It's the demand that will drive our schedule. There was another session on how many sessions for Selenium, how long will the course take? I will talk about that. Karthik, I don't have any programming language background, so still Selenium course is good for us. I did answer that earlier too, as saying that it will be amazing. Don't worry. This is the most, you will love this program overall, team. It's just very interesting how these applications work, automation works. It's very interesting. So with that interest level, don't worry. All the programming that you need to learn, we will cover. Okay, so we will ensure that you are well covered in that skill upgrading. Will it be all online training or recorded videos as well? So you have both. A lot of our members, because of the timing, can't join in person online, so they take our recorded sessions. ETL sessions, yes, we'll have a few planned going on. I think there is a couple more sessions, questions, and then I'll move on to Selenium. Uh, Job assistance in India as well, absolutely. That is the one of the primary reasons I started spending more and more time here. We locally want to really expand with trainings and placements across India. Um, Another question, team, last one. Nowadays, new tools are keep on coming. So Selenium will stay alive for how many years? Great question. Selenium stayed alive for a good decade. And I thought tools like uh, robot framework, Cucumber, Water. Then there was Ruby on Rails that was, along with Water that was doing some phenomenal job. That was big threat. This was 2001-2 time frame, team, and it has gone beyond that. Today we have Catalan, we have cross-browser testing, Sauce Labs, and so many other competitive products that it is almost impossible to predict. What the market did is one thing. They love the fact that Selenium is open source, not free. There's a lot of difference between open source and free, team. Free means you can use it, you can't break it, and you can't do whatever you want with it. You just use it. Open source is the whole technology, how it is built, everything is open. So there are a lot of tools and projects that are built using Selenium as a core platform. So Selenium continues to be a core platform. I have spent the last 2.5 years of our career spent, when I say I represent our students, our entire team, building AnyAUT, and that's built on Selenium as a platform. There are upcoming technologies like Protractor and so on that will get added, also with, to try and tackle automation of latest applications on Angular 5, Node.js, and so on. That is something you keep upgrading, you keep adding. But the core, what is automation in general? Why is Selenium become so popular and still the #1 tool for the next few years to come also, hopefully, is something we will go through now. Hopefully I've answered that question. And then one more question, which is very good related to it, and then I'll go on. Do you suggest us to take core Java before Selenium? No, you can take them independently or side, not together. I will talk about what we will cover in the Selenium training. Then we will talk about what we will cover in core Java in the next session, team. Okay. And then you'll know, okay, wow, okay, we'll start at level 1. Then we're going to go to level 2. All right. So team, this is an orientation session. Once I get into day 1, I will talk about the application and what we will do. Till then, on which site will we do automation and so on. Hold on to it. It's a complete program. So we will guide you. We'll take you through it. We have a question. We have an answer for every question that you have. We will take you all the way through that. Now let's talk about what is it that we will cover in Selenium. All right. So team, I don't want to talk too much about the topics. I'm going to take a notepad and start writing my notes and my, view on Selenium as an automation tool. Give me a second. I'm going to increase the font a little bit more. Fonts so that you can see team. So Selenium team. All right. Now the history goes back to the fact that it was named after an element. There was an element, I believe it is element 34. Is that correct? I'm not sure. If anyone is on Google, just check that once for me, please. In your element table, there's an element called Selenium. It's number 34. I actually was very lucky to see that in person, that element in a solid form in Griffith Observatory in Los Angeles. I saw that. 34? Yeah. So that was the Selenium element number in the element chart of the 100 plus elements that we have. It was just taken as an inspiration from then. It was open source. So it's like contributors came together and said, let's make a platform that makes testing easy. All right. And what did they say? They focused a lot on two things, team: JUnit and TestNG. Primarily what used to happen, and I will not confuse you what is JUnit and TestNG. It is very simple. Both of these are Java frameworks. All right. So if someone has been working in Java for a while, All right. They know that before they release their code, they want to test it once. So what is the testing that Java developers or any software developers do, team? What is the type of testing? So very fundamental question when it comes to QA. What is the type of testing that developers do? Do they do performance testing, regression testing, functional testing, security testing? They do unit testing. That is what it is called, right? Now, to make their job easy to do unit testing, these above frameworks were created. Java for unit testing became JUnit. Let's test them more powerfully with reports, and few more features came up as TestNG. So when the creators of Selenium started looking at it, they knew that they wanted to help this community of developers. So what they said is, let us write a code that will be a Java archived library or resource. What that will become a Selinus, or what, and then Selenium RC IDE, and then finally is your WebDriver. Of course, there are other components like grid and so on that keep coming. So the whole idea that, okay, let us use Java as a base, we will then create a small library that will take care of Selenium. This is a very technical in-depth about Selenium team, how it got started. So it was made for developers, and they said that, okay, let automation engineers come. Now, what is the first thing that they did with Selenium? Very simple, team. They built something called as an IDE. It is actually called as an integrated development environment. Now, what is an IDE? Selenium IDE. This is a simple tool which does record and play or run what your tests. So it was so phenomenally nice and magical. It had a simple Firefox plugin I had to download and start recording on that window on the left side and do whatever on the application on the right side. It was happily learning. And then I stop it and then I say play. I hit the button play. So whatever I did, it will repeat. Oh, wow, that is nice. Very quick, soft automation. That is how they launched. Now they said, but who's the core purpose? Developers. I want to make sure that, it is going into their hands. We will do an export our tests to either RC format or WebDriver format, either Java or within the JUnit or TestNG, all right? Or let's do Python, PHP. So they gave limitless programming languages to connect with team. So Selenium IDE, very basic, simple record, manual testing, nice, not very useful. So Selenium IDE or not a single interviewer in this world will ask, because we learn that for basics and then we move on. The next step is, how do we take our tests and export them, and then you'll have to run them through a developer's IDE. So while I talk about IDE here, this Selenium IDE is very simple. A developer's IDE is like an Eclipse platform where you actually write your code and launch and do all of those things. Okay. Now, then comes the complex things of frameworks. How do we do, checkpoints or recovery scenarios? How do we do reports? And so many things come into the play. That is your starting level 1 Selenium IDE. That is level 1 of automation. Then you get into exporting the tests, and then you customize, you do a lot of playing. Customize, build, run, automation tests. That's what you're doing, team, here. Now, in the program that we are talking about, we want to take you through a very specific journey, team. First is, why manual to automation? What we will cover in this few, maybe about 14 to 15 sessions. We'll go through them at length. Why do we need to go from manual to automation? And we talk about a very important concept in automation that I use. I've been coining this for a long time, called ERA: efficiency, reusability, and accuracy. These three phenomenal thumb rules or guiding factors will help us become amazing automation engineers. We now don't want to be just basics of that. Why do we need to look at these aspects? Then we will talk about Selenium IDE. There are three aspects in a team. There is something called as a command, target, and then a value. Like three columns in an Excel sheet. Just imagine that. Command is what is the instruction, target, how to recognize that element in the page. Value is you sometimes need a username, password, or some details to enter into forms. You carry that. Selenium IDE gives you, oh wow, how do you give like pass instructions for a test step to get executed on the web browser team. Okay, how do we drive browser? Okay, that's the one. Drive this test. Webdriver, will come to it later. Okay, Selenium IDE is very sweet, you will enjoy it. We're going to spend about one project till there team. Now comes the other aspects. Where does it get a little bit more tricky? Why IDE ain't popular? Why is it still like, okay, starting point, that's fine. And how do we cope up with that gap? Let's look at all these topics that we're looking out here. Now, as part of what you see, there are topics like Ajax, dynamic pages, what happens if we have this scenario and so on, like tricks and tips and that whole thing that we will cover. WebDriver JUnit test engine, I'll come to it in a sheet. I'm just looking at other things. Selenium page object model, page factory, automation frameworks, AnyAUT. So overall in your Selenium, you will see an exposure to all these things, team. But let me talk about where you can do without coding. How far? We're talking about that. All right. The first one is your WebDriver code. All right. You basically export from IDE. Oops, there was a sound which came up. Everyone okay, team? You all can hear me? From Selenium IDE to Eclipse, which is good for Java and few other Eclipse IDE. How do we go? And then run the code. To be able to read the code, you're not writing, team, bro. But then you need, okay, you know what, I can change. So you're able to read the code. Be it, choose your language. Java, go for C#, or I would ask you to stay there. You can also do Python and so on, but this is good. It's one of these to start with, if there's an advice for you to go for. Then talks about how do you do three types of automation programs. Simple Java automation code / program, one for each test case. Okay, for each test case, 15-20 steps, I'll write a code, keep it there. For this, still I don't need coding. Why? I've built everything in Selenium IDE and I'll export from there. Very little changes. Anyone on this planet Earth will be able to do, team. That's my strong belief. You just need your basics there. No coding, no programming still. Okay. Then is three types of automation programs. So this is the first step. Second is you run through a framework. Then there are different types of frameworks. There is linear, there is functional decomposition, then there is data-driven framework, a keyword-driven framework, a page object model, a page factory, and a hybrid. And now the new frameworks that will come will be with your mobile applications and all integrated. They'll all come together. You are still running through a framework. You know how to run a framework. That also you don't need to do a lot of coding, team. You know how a Java code looks, you know how to read that code, but you will be able to make specific changes. You're still not very comfortable with writing heavy coding. And now to make things simple, what we will do, in between, we're going to add all about what you can do with JUnit and TestNG basics. All right. So for this, of course, you need to know a little bit of core Java. There's no question about it. You know, a little bit of Java, I can teach you JUnit or TestNG, whatever is needed without overcomplicating it, team. Now, earlier what we used to do is we could call this as basics of Selenium automation. Okay. And then there is advanced, where we can do more programming and coding. All these areas and aspects is very critical for you to cover. And then we can go into hardcore. Right. So this one, we wanted to keep it away from our advanced. You will get exposure to a lot of this. I don't want you to get spoiled with, oh, you know what, I'm not a Java expert yet. Don't worry about that, team. Okay. You're a Selenium expert. You know how a WebDriver code. If you're just Selenium ID, no one wants your team. So we're giving you enough skill without coding that you can still do very amazing survival. Now, hardcore coding, these are all where it gets more and more trickier. From here, I would say coding know-how is critical. All right. Now, once you start getting into this, you will start seeing an exposure to something called as continuous integration, continuous delivery. You'll start seeing tools like Ant or Maven, Jenkins, Git. All these tools will start coming in, and this will keep taking you into a route called SDET. From my perspective, team, there are plenty of good jobs even till here. And you know, a little bit more, you will still survive. You still don't have to do hardcore programming. The tools are nice. They're built correctly. They will give you that flexibility. All right. So in our 15, 20 sessions, we will go through all of them. It will not make you an expert in programming yet, because it will take a little bit more effort. I'm going to take the programming sessions separately and then we'll combine them together. Let us focus on Selenium as a core topic. Let us look at the latest things what Selenium org, hq.org is getting into, and we'll put them as part of the training. In another 15 hours, we will do a lot of Java. So 15 hours of Selenium WebDriver frameworks, 15 hours of programming, together about 30 hours will make you awesome into it. All right. The reason I'm separating it is like this image here. In fact, even our AnyAUT certified testers and developers, same kind of bifurcation. No coding, awesome, be a tester. Yes, coding, awesome, become a developer. And in this, yes, here. So if someone wants to just choose manual testing, your chances of getting a job will become very tight. That's a challenge. If you do Selenium and go through this entire thing, even with little or not too much coding, you have a great phenomenal opportunity to get a job. If you add your programming languages, then you are really getting into it. So if you have Selenium and SDET without programming, that's fine too. You understand, team? This is a great combination without complicating. It is a journey you take. What you see on the screen in this 4 blocks is primarily which will set you for your software testing automation career. New tools will get added, new technologies will come in, we'll keep updating it. For example, Catalan, amazing, popular thing in the market. So they may go to be down, but they'll keep coming up as the schedule keeps coming. Now, with our Selenium training, the way we will plan to do, so whatever I'm talking about above, without much focus or confusing you on coding in this, we will do 3 projects, team. All right, or at least 2. Each one will be levels of complexity will keep increasing. We will keep going one level after the other, and you will get an exposure that is absolute hands-on. I will be doing it on a project. You will be practicing on it as well, and you will go through a lot of tests and assignments. This is something we want to encourage very actively. This is critical in an e-learning platform to the largest possible extent, because we know how our students are shaping up. So this is something we want to build every day, and you will keep working. So when I say projects, all our training is done as projects only team. So we don't like, okay, chapter one, chapter two, okay, you know what, this is the definition. I don't think we ever use definition. We are true IT, people. We know how the IT domain, IT world works. So we build skills that way. And that's what we want you to be able to confidently get into. I believe I've covered most part of what I want. You will be able to access the complete list of course contents in this slide. And how are we doing on time? I'm just checking that. Okay, I think we have another 10 minutes and we can take Q&As through it. One second, team. I was at this slide and there was a link here. Yes. So you'll see a lot of content on Selenium. So 75% of iTeLearn members have just done e-learning, not even live, like self-learning. They have access to, from our perspective, I think Selenium is one course we have done non-stop forever. And this is one area we've kept doing a lot of improvement in the structure. So you'll see new things getting introduced in a very, very heavy way. This is a very old course content. If you go to our latest ones and say Selenium, you look at the list of all the things that we do. So with Java, with C Sharp, what are the things that we have in each and every area? What frameworks are we covering? And we have access to all the trainings team. Now, leaving that aside, I'm going to start this new batch. We'll start with the basics. Let's start basics. And we will go with day 1, day 2, day 3. And I'm going to teach you live, and we will go through it for about 3 to 4 weeks team. We're going to have 4 to 5 sessions in a week, 1 hour each, where I'll be teaching you, and you'll need to spend at least an hour and a half offline practicing on the same. And if you are able to do parallelly Selenium and Java, let us say instead of 2.5 hours a day, you spend about 3.5 hours. But I will ensure you don't get confused or get mixed up with these two. You are more than welcome to take up to 2 trainings with us, one after the other. If you're not in a hurry, then let's finish Selenium. You can join the next Java batch, which will be right after. The way we are scheduling it is most of them will be about 4 weeks. So it is, we know, yes, one batch is ending, the other will start. You would be able to participate in them. What I intend to do is, be it in the 4 weeks, parallelly you're taking both Selenium and Java together, or in 8 weeks you're taking them sequentially one after the other, you will have to become an amazing at SDET. That would be my intent. What would it require? Your discipline of coming, attending sessions, your discipline of taking our test assignments, and all the project work activities that we do. You will be associated with a group of learners, and you will have to together come up with them. You will be participating in a lot of mock interviews and so on. And if you're a JPAC member, you are totally with us for at least 3 to 4 hours a day. So team, that's about Selenium. I really want you to look at from a market perspective. The simplest thing I do is I go to Indeed job trends. All right. It'll tell me what is happening and I can compare it with the competition. So this is a good graph to say how is the job moving. I hope it won't get diverted to the Indian domain. Yeah, see, it's already displaying what all are there. Hopefully competitive to IT itself. But where is the search here? Using, okay, didn't you dismiss this? I'm just trying to search. Wow, they used to have a search bar. Job category trends. I don't know where is the search bar. It used to be there. Maybe I go in the category of IT information design and tech info. Okay, job trends 67,000. Okay, I think this will be our. Wow. Okay. So if you look at this, it shows in terms of job titles, search terms, and of course locations. It's a lot US centric display, but the jobs in IT world, US is a good representative of a global IT platform team. Data analyst is top, and data analyst is also getting added with data sciences these days. So that is becoming very nice specialized. Like I was saying, even in the earlier session, The number one qualification for a good software engineer is to be a good business analyst. They know a lot of business in the domain. So see, that comes on the top. Then we have our QA analyst and a lot of other things that are coming in. Within QA analyst, let me say, if I can drill down. Okay, thank you. It is jobs. The website is okay. I don't have that. Anyone has that link? It actually shows me a trend by graph by date that okay, in 2015 there were 60,000 jobs in this area in Selenium. 2018 there are 180,000 jobs. Is there an increase or decrease? A very nice graph. I will find that offline team and I'll share it with you. Looks like Indeed has gone through a few changes themselves. From a market standpoint, I think for the next 5 years, automation Selenium will go hand in hand as a name, because there's so many tools that are already built on Selenium that they'll continue to use and say that, yeah, we have Selenium as a platform. Maybe a new one will come, people will rule onto it, but or move on to it. It'll take us 3 to 4 years. Team, great questions. Most of my real focus on the topics will start from day one, and I really invite you for the demo sessions at that time, please. Any questions on this orientation session on a little bit about JPack, but a lot about Selenium and how easily without coding you can still be a QA analyst? That's the whole thing. May not be an SDET yet unless you get into the coding deep, but QA analyst, yes. Yeah. So I have a couple of questions here. So one is, these three projects are as a part of Selenium training or part of JPack? These are part of Selenium training. So I will take a project and do a project and teach while doing the project. And after we are done in the JPack, what happens? You'll be put into a project. That is very, very rigorous, team, that live projects that we do. But this one I'm talking about is where I show you, okay? 2 or 3 different styles or variations and complexities. We can easily do 3 of them. There's one question from Uday. Recently, I went for an interview on Selenium. The interview is mostly asking questions on Java, like asking to write some code. What is the output of a particular code? I am unable to answer it. Can you help me how to cross this out? Sure. I believe from a coding perspective, you need to breathe in hard, step back, and look at it. Join me for the next session. I'll talk about Java on that, please. And team, a lot of information will be provided by iTeLearn, our admin sales team, in terms of schedule, registration, how to join. My focus will be on the topic and subject. So administrative, sales related tasks, kindly take it offline. With me, whatever questions you want to put, right, team, let's be very topic related. Thank you. Selenium with C# or Selenium with Java, which one is popular? Selenium with Java is popular. Selenium with C# also is popular. Depends which segment, which country or company you're going into. Java is easier to get started. You have all open source, Selenium IDE and so on. Sorry, Eclipse IDE and so on. C# a little bit more, but once you learn one, the other will become fairly easy. All right. What did I say I will do before I this? Did I say something I wanted to show? Okay, I'm still going through the question. How much coding is required for WebDriver? Zilch. You just need to read the code. You don't need to know any coding, because they will create the code. You take it, copy paste, learn to do a few things in Eclipse IDE, and your code will run. Oh, you know what? I want to change it. I want to put a if statement. I want to do a complex loop. Then yes, you see the difference? Basic code, IDE to WebDriver, simple changes, it will work. Till that extent, I want you all to master. Then I'll forget coding. Why do you have so many worries and questions on coding? It's pretty easy. Once we start on that, you'll see. Where you'll have a challenge is how to become an expert. And I will give an advice. Whenever an interview is trying to talk a lot on coding, Java and all that, great, show. But you talk about, okay, you know what, in my project of AnyAUT, this is the Java coding I did. This is what I did. And see, one of the first things I tell about programming is you need to read the code, understand, read to read. Forget about writing, it is stage 4. Because the interview will give you a code, read it and tell me the output, perfect. Or then he might give you a whiteboard and a pen, say, go write it. You need to balance your skill and expectations. So maybe, you know, your Java skill will improve in 3 to 6 months. Till then, you have to go with a portfolio of skills. Java, maybe on a scale of 1 to 10, 6.5. That's what you say. Not 7.5 yet, but in 6 months you'll be 7.5. But you can say in WebDriver frameworks or some of the CI/CD, I'm 8. So you can overcompensate through some. That balancing hopefully will give you a little bit more opportunities. Team. Java will be done in core Java program. Java will be done in the core Java. In this, we will be very, very basics of it. So team, if you're someone who's looking to become into automation, I would suggest you take both Selenium and Java, don't split it. All right. But when it comes to Java, I really want to teach Java seriously. So you know that, yeah, this is a serious programming language, please. But for interview purpose, you don't need to know anything, team. I will tell you one thing. Do not ever prepare for interview. Prepare for yourself, your skill. Stop preparing for interviews. Do not mock up their interview questions. What will they ask? No, you prepare your skill and go. Your resume and the interview. I know this, and then let them ask. You first talk about what we know. Do not worry about that aspect of interview, team. Let's change the mindset. But interviews are asking this. They want this. No. What are we building that the market wants? Then we'll start choosing. We will go in a pride manner. They will also know that, oh, you know what, this gentleman or lady has a lot of respect for their profile. Let's not scare them too much into deep coding and so on. Another question, and again, a lot of these questions are fear factor questions. They're not really technology questions. The question is VB scripting for UFT easier than Selenium Java? For me, UFT and VB scripting was a little tougher to get started because setting it up, installing and all that. Java Eclipse was very easy to get started. And then once you start liking Java, what happens is the programming language is immense. It'll keep taking you. You don't have to stop anywhere. VB script would have its limitations. So Java was a full-fledged programming language. VB script was still just in the in the script view we used to see, but in the HPUFT there's so many other features, right? So for me, nothing is easy or hard. It's the same thing. Just start doing it. We'll achieve everything. By doing this course, how much experience can we show in our resume? Yeah, it's a very odd question. If you're that is where I need to be sitting with you, trying to understand our team. How many years of experience do you have? What have you done? What is it that we could uh, train you on? And this is a program, team. There is no one answer which will satisfy 100 people to this. Okay, like how much confidence will we get? Although we need a lot of practice. By doing which course? How much experience? How? It is a personal answer. So that is where we need to know you about you in better. All right. So it is a very common question. All the questions that you've asked are something I've been answering for the last 9 years, team. It's not for the first time. And we're pretty much good into this. You will see those answers coming through from day one. From day one, team, you'll have no questions. It'll be all questions in the sense from a doubt. You'll have more of, okay, what is coming next? What will happen in the project? In a practice, you'll have some questions. We'll go through them as well. Okay, perfect. All right, team. I'm also getting late now for the other session. Thank you for joining. The next session is on Java, so I will be jumping straight onto that. So hopefully we'll see you there. Thank you all. Bye now. I'll see you back in the webinar in the next few minutes. Ashna, you just want to mention about the timing for Java and then get started? I'm logging
Yes,
off.
the session is at 8:30 p.m. Pacific time, and the link is there on www.iteLearn.com/webinars/Java. You will have to just scroll to the page and register. If needed, I will just share the link on chat. Just give me 1 minute, please, and I'm sharing the link. So whoever is interested to join it can register on that specific link and join the Java orientation session. So as mentioned by Karthik, it would be specifically related to core Java. Just 1 minute, please, and okay. So I have added the link on chat, team. So I hope whoever is interested in Java training can register here. Thank you, team. Thanks for joining in the session. I would end the session in a minute. If anyone needs, can just pick up the link from the chat and register there. So then the session is at 8:30 p.m. Pacific, and I'm sharing the link. Thank you, team. Thanks, bye everyone.